Good morning, Knicks fans. It's your boy. And you are now tuned into another episode of OU and Knicks podcast. I hope everyone is doing well at this point in time in your life. I hope that you have received all the blessings that you wish to receive. I hope as a Knicks fan you have been well pleased with how the Knicks have played over the first half of this season. I hope that you have gained the respect from the masses that I feel that you deserve. What we're here to talk about today is, what can the Knicks do for this second half that will guarantee them a spot in the playoffs?
I'm just scratching the surface.
You know that we have a problem with scoring at this point in time. And there are some things that we need to do to be able to up that. One of the things that I feel that the Knicks need to do is to seriously make a trade. And I'm not saying sell the farm. No, not for 1 second am I saying sell the farm. What I'm saying is give up the assets that you have that you aren't using. And even though I love Frank, even though I love Knox, I feel like them guys right now are not being used to the best of their ability, and they will be able to find something else somewhere else, but just not on the Knicks.
I'm just scratching the surface.
I feel that if you couple Knox, Frank Ntilikina, maybe Austin Rivers, in a couple of draft picks, I'm pretty sure that the Knicks could be able to come out with a good player whose play will be able to further them along up until the playoffs and beyond. One of these people that I feel today that the Knicks do need to pick up is Victor Oladipo. Is he reliable? No. Does he want to stay with the Knicks? We don't know. But what we do know that is that Victor Oladipo loves the playoff atmosphere. He wants to be known as a high power, high caliber player in the NBA. This is something that we definitely know about Victor Oladipo, besides the singing. I say that the Knicks should be making phone calls to the Rockets,
I'm just scratching the surface.
banging down their
I'm
door
just scratching the surface.
in order to get Victor Oladipo right now. And hope for the best, prepare for the worst with his health. At this point in time in the Knicks' future, I feel like the stress that these guys are going to be going on is going to be tremendously hard. Our first 4 games are against three teams for that matter, that are above 500. Now, I'm not saying that I don't have faith in the Knicks to where they can't, be something and be able to dominate these teams. We've seen that in the first half when they dominated the Bucks. But that was at the beginning of the season. The Bucks and the Knicks were still trying to find themselves at that point in time. Who's to say that the Bucks haven't done their research on the Knicks? Not saying that the Knicks haven't done it on them, but who's to say the Bucks haven't done their research on the Knicks to where now they can thrive against the Knicks? Not at all saying that we're guaranteed to lose. I have faith in my Knicks, but you have to be real with yourself and know where you stand and what you have and what you don't have. And besides Julius Randle at this point in time, the Knicks do not have a surefire scorer. We've seen Emmanuel Quickly have bad nights. We've seen RJ Barrett have bad nights. We've seen Derrick Rose have bad nights. We've seen the majority of our players have bad nights. Besides, who else? Julius Randle. So if you know that you have one surefire player, an all-star, your leader, who's going to give you the same thing that, let's be honest, it's the same thing that happened with Melo. But let's talk about this right now. If you know that you have a surefire in Julius Randle right now, you need that extra scorer. You need that person who's going to go out there and get you a bucket, who can create their own shot. Victor Oladipo at this point in time is that person who can do that. And not only that, he can defend. He adds a boost. Let's say you give up Reggie Bullock and exchange Reggie Bullock for Oladipo. You're gaining a better scorer, a younger player, and not only that, above average defender who's going to give you the same defense that Reggie Bullock gives you. And I don't care what nobody say. RJ Barrett has to step up on his defense. If RJ Barrett wants to play that guard role, he will have to step up on his defense. By stepping up on his defense, we know his limitations. We know that RJ Barrett is not a very fast guard, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a stronger guard. That's what separates him from these guards, because he's stronger than them. So it's hard for them to stop him in the paint. If you notice, the main times that RJ Barrett is stopped in the paint is by a big. If the big doesn't help that guard, RJ Barrett most likely is going to score on that guard because he's stronger than your average guard. But he's slower. So on defense, it's hard for RJ Barrett to keep up with guards. But RJ Barrett also possesses the strength to be able to go up against small forwards. So let's say you get Victor Oladipo, right? You switch Oladipo to that shooting guard spot. Switch RJ Barrett to the 3. And then you have the capability to do great things. Because where is the most defense needed at this point of time in the NBA? It's at the guard spot. That would totally eliminate people hating on Peyton. Why? Because Victor Oladipo brings another shooter on that floor. A surefire who can get his own shot, who really doesn't need Julius Randle or RJ Barrett to be able to get his own shot. So if you have Victor Oladipo, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle on that starting lineup with Peyton and Mitch, who both are defensive players, RJ Barrett and Julius Randle can take night offs at the 3 and the 4, because you got 3 other, if this in the case of Victor Oladipo, if you got Victor Oladipo, you got 3 surefire defenders, good defenders that's on your starting. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like RJ Barrett can't play defense. He can play defense. What I'm saying is RJ Barrett is slower than the average guard. He's meant to be a small forward. And I truly don't understand why Tom Tibbs hasn't even moved him to that spot already, even with Reggie Bullock. But if you have Victor Oladipo on that line with you, you not only have a surefire scorer, but you also have a great defender, which leaves room for RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Because not only can Victor Oladipo get his own shot, he can produce shots for others. You have to guard Oladipo. They're not necessarily worried about Bullock or Peyton or Mitch. We need you to worry about Victor Oladipo, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle. You can't leave them open. because if you do, you're sure to get scorched. That's one of the picks. Another pick that I have, not pick as in draft, but pick as in a choice of a player that the Knicks do need to trade for. And you guys already heard me mention this. I hate to give Mitch up, but I will have to for Karl Anthony Towns. We realize the situation with Karl Anthony Towns now in Minnesota. It's not looking good there. He wasn't part of the All-Star, something that he wants to be. He's not going to the playoffs, some place that he wants to go. And the only success that he has had since his career, since being in the NBA, is with the coach that everybody heard he had a problem with. But is that enough to keep him from wanting to chase his destiny? To be a star in the playoffs? To be a star on a storied franchise? I think he would rather do that than keep playing all his skill away on a team who has no chance of going anywhere right now. Not throwing shade at the Timberwolves, but I'm just saying it is what it is. Their team is not good enough right now. And no matter if D'Lo is back or not, he's not a good enough defender to where you can rely on him. So, will he make that change? I think it could be highly likely that he makes that change. But it will have to be in the right situation. And what better situation right now than to get in is the Knicks. Right now, if you really look at the media right now, the Nets are killing things. But the most thing that you will hear about if you walk in the New York streets is the New York Knicks. All the Knicks need is that right person to be able to bring them to the place where they need to be at. Who's to say that's not Karl Anthony Towns? It will have to be either Karl Anthony Towns or Victor Oladipo. I don't see you getting both of them. That will ruin your cap. It'll have to be an entirely new. That somebody is going to have to leave. And I'm not talking about just Obi. I'm talking about like RJ Barrett or Quickly. Two of the main pieces that you really want on your team besides Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson at this point in time. So you're not getting both of them. You could just hang that up and take it back to church. But pardon me for that, family. But like I was saying, there's if it came down to it, I would have to get Victor Oladipo over Karl Anthony Towns to, bring that defense to where it needs to be. There's no reason to sit up there and lose out on defense when defense is what's brought us here this entire time. So there's no reason I'm giving up, on my defense. So I would rather have Victor Oladipo on the squad in order to bring the best out of RJ Barrett and bring out the best in Julius Randle that we've already been seeing this season. But if we don't get a surefire scorer before maybe even the season resumes or before the trade deadline, then it just might all be over for the Knicks, man. Because when you get into these grinded out games, you need somebody that could go get you a bucket. You need somebody that, and I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to score, because you still got Derrick Rose who can sometimes go out and get a bucket. But I mean, you need a young body who can really go out and get a bucket for your team. And we've seen points in games where Derrick Rose himself have stalled and not being able to go get him a shot. You get what I'm saying to you? So if you don't have a surefire guy that's on your squad besides Julius Randle that can score, then you're not gonna get out of the first round in the playoffs, if you even get there. So the Knicks will have to bring something up to make something to be able to, get themselves in that good light in order to be able to make the playoffs. Because if you don't have another offensive scorer, then I doubt we see the Knicks go really anywhere. But that's basically all I wanted to say to you guys. I'm just gonna cut this short, and just stay tuned because more videos coming up. Make sure that you like and subscribe. It don't cost you a thing to like and subscribe my YouTube. It don't cost you a thing to read my articles that I post up. So if you do tune into my videos and you like my work, please like and subscribe, share. Mostly on Twitter. I don't be on Facebook like that, but Twitter that's where I be at. So if you new to the channel, I hope you make sure that you like and subscribe. If you a regular visitor, stay up and peace.
I'm just scratching the surface.